A new preview has arrived, adding the game-changing shelf block and some really cool copper golem features. But at what cost? Let's check everything out and let's sit back in Minecraft. I'll tell you what, it feels good being back on Minecraft Preview Edition. This is a really cool update. Let's check some of the features out and let's see how far we can push the shelf block and the copper golem and the features that come with that. Now this is just a copy of the world, so we can go into creative mode, we can properly test this thing out. This is Bedrock Edition, by the way. I've just got a Java UI pack, but to begin with, let's take a look at these shelves, because these things look fantastic and they're quite cheap in all fairness. And so as you've probably seen already, to craft these things up, you just need 6 stripped oak and then you can get some shelves. And these things as a building block just look fantastic. They are basically vertical slabs. I mean, look at that. That is fantastic looking. And then you can, of course, just put whatever item you want in any of these 3 slots. And what's really cool as well, I'm going to put my entire hotbar in there. Wait till you see what happens. And you can even put stacks of items in there as well. And so if we go over to my redstone barrel, let's get ourselves some levers. And then watch what happens. I'm going to place some levers in the back. As you've probably seen this, you see the little slots that basically divide the shelves into 3 different parts. Let's power it, and you can see it becomes one solid piece. You can see how it looked before and then how it looks now. And I'm going to toggle all of these on, and even the back texture, by the way, looks fantastic. And then I'll just store my levers down there. Watch what happens when I click anywhere on these 3. I'm going to click there. Look at that. The entire hotbar is back, and it's in the correct order as well. I can click anywhere, I can put that there. It's going to just basically mix and match hotbars. And so let me turn this one off. I want to get that shelf back. Let me just show you a use case for this. I like to do a lot of building, as you can probably tell. I'm going to get some stone. We'll even get some cobblestone as well. And then andesite, just for some more variety. And then even stone bricks. I really like them. And you know what? Lodestones is here. And I'm basically just going to put all of these in these item frames. Or in these shelves, rather. The new item frame. And so what I can do is I can grab the top hotbar. And then I can just switch it with the bottom one. Switch it back. Just like that. That is amazing. Mojang adds a lot of features, but I think this one is genuinely very, very useful. It's the ability to just mix and match and swap hotbars so easily. I mean, that is really quite a game changer in my opinion. Now, of course, as I said, this is only a copy of the world. I want to really check out how we can upgrade some of my existing buildings with the new shelf block. And I'm looking at this one right here. I'm going to get some birch shelves. And rather than using the trapdoors, imagine I use these instead. How does that look? I actually think that looks quite cool. You could really do things like that. In fact, they've got a sort of horizontal design. So what happens if we try and layer the bottom and see how that looks? That actually looks really good. I'm surprised with that. And of course, you can get every single wood type as well. And they've even got their own sort of unique designs to them. So if I grab the different textures like that, you can see the warp ones has a sort of diagonal pattern. Cherry wood's got a sort of plus, and then this one's just got some bars in it as well. They've spent a lot of time detailing these blocks. And so I wish I had this when I was building my cathedral building here, because I'm imagining something like that. You could have these kind of here and then on these corners as well, just to try and bulk them out a bit. And it's very subtle, but it just looks slightly more detailed than that side. I mean, that is a fantastic building block. Same with this building. This was when I reached 500 subscribers on YouTube. I made that building to celebrate. And then you could just go through things like that. So if you really wanted to, in fact, let's make it look like this is coming out, kind of like repairs. So I'm going to place one on top of the existing wood like that. And it's just kind of more texture. It's quite bulky, but I actually really like that. Well, this big building here, this is a fine example because I've got the dark oak shelves here. Let's try and place them like that. And then basically in line with all of these sort of pillars that go up and down. And I'm hoping that this will just, they're quite weird to place. They don't really snap to anything. You can even place these just out on the air and off each other. I really like that. And even the back textures are unique as well for each block. I'm looking at that. I got completely distracted, but that's kind of like a railing. Or it kind of looks like the top of an anvil. Yeah, the likes of that. That just looks really cool. And then if you really want to, you can go underneath with the trapdoors and then just basically add in a ridiculous amount of detail because you've now got an extra layer which comes out. And so maybe that's not the best example, but you can understand what I'm trying to get at. Or even this big crate. This is something in the harbour. Let's try and make this crate so much more detailed just by adding this in, and it already looks like a genuine shipping container. Obviously it's a wooden one. I mean, my city's based in the Victorian era, so it's meant to look old-time and old-fashioned, but I mean, that just looks so cool. Wait a minute. You could make actual trains now. Because we can place them here, I could go like that, and it is a vertical slab. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. I'll do something like that, and then I could remove the blocks in the inside. So now we've got an actual carriage, which is wide enough to walk through whilst looking like a carriage. Oh my days. Mark my words, because this is genuinely going to be one of the most game-changing blocks we've gotten in such a long time. Builders will love it, redstoners as well, and just the things he can do with a vertical slab is properly, you know, game changing. So of course we got a few weeks ago the copper golem, but you can see there's now copper golem statues, and these guys will turn into statues, which I think's a cool idea, but I can't help but feel really bad for the copper golems. Do you know what I mean? I mean, how heartbreaking is it going to be when you've got a copper golem running around and he just turns into a statue? I'm going to place one down. This is his final stage. Any more than that, he's going to solidify. I'm going to place one of these guys down as well. See, they're just going to check each other's chests, but this guy's nowhere near turning into a statue compared to that guy who's just turned into one. And this guy doesn't even care. He's just standing on top of his own kind. That is cruel. But these guys are really cool because you can actually pose them and just kind of look at them. I mean, they are really cool, but this is kind of sick. I mean, it is quite cool, but if you want to get this guy back, what we have to do now is get an axe, and I'm going to use the copper axe because they're brand new, and we have to basically take off all the layers, back down to this layer, and then one more, and now he's back, which, I mean, I'm happy with. Look at him. If you want, you can always wax these guys to stop them from turning into a statue, which I really like. So you could wax them like that, and then they're not going to turn into a statue. Even these ones where they're really close, you need to be quick to make sure he doesn't. But this guy's never going to turn into a statue, which I really like. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things you could do with these guys, and of course you can see every single variant like that. Let's grab all of these. Let's try and decorate some things. I like how he is in your hand. He's like a little statue. But let's try and, like, so this house here, you can have copper golems as decorations. I mean, it's kind of like a gargoyle. I really hope you can place these guys at an angle. You can't just now, but it'd be good if you could place them sort of in this orientation, like a sign. But I mean, I'm a big fan of this, but again, it just feels quite strange. And I can imagine these guys look quite cool in some of the shelves. So let's try and place some down like that. And then, oh my days, you've just got a little copper golem just sitting there. And I believe as well, if I was to go into survival mode, first of all, I need to get my hotbar back. But yeah, if you place these guys down in survival mode, you can even pose them like I said. In fact, we need to do it with a clear hand. If I was to pose this guy by crouch and clicking on him, I can mine him and he gets brought back into my inventory in that sort of pose. We can place him in here. You can see that he's now in his running pose. We'll get this guy sitting down. I think that's quite a cool feature because you can kind of make them unique. And what's more as well, if I was to name this guy, let's just call him Jeff. And if I was to place that down, place him down, name him Jeff, and before we know it, he's going to turn into a statue. Look at him. And then he's just going to solidify all of a sudden. And that's Jeff, now a statue. So we can mine him up. He doesn't have a name when he's in my inventory. We can even place him down in the, that's my axe. We can place him down in the shelf. I don't remember posing him like that. We're going to place him back down. Let's give Jeff a wax, and now he's back, all brand new. Look at you, Jeff. You look great. There's a ridiculous amount of opportunities that you can do with this guy, but when I just look at something like that, I just think it looks weird. I mean, let's try and make it look like they're about to get loaded onto a train or something. I mean, we could do something like this, where we're just going to move copper golems. Wait till you see this. And I think what we'll do for this, we'll make it a white cat. In fact, we'll make it blue. I think that looks really good, the warped wood. And so now that we've done that, let's get some wheels in. We're going to just go for 2 like that. And now using the shelf block, let's use them as vertical slabs like we've talked about. And now I'm going to basically raise this up. And in fact, I really like that diorite trim. So I'm going to use a pale oak shelf, and we can get some extra detail along the top. And so we've got something like that. It looks a bit boring, so let's try and spice up with some trapdoors. And because it's a copper golem thing, we can use some oxidized copper trapdoors. And so we could do something like that. This is cruel, by the way. This is turning into a much worse idea than I thought. And so we'll place a door at this side, place a door at that side, and now we can just basically fill this entire thing in with statues, and it kind of looks like a shipment of copper golem statues. Okay, you know what? That doesn't look very good, and what's more is it's quite sick looking, and not in a good way. There's also one change that they made, which I really hope they revert. I'm not a fan of this, and it's to do with ladders. You see, when you go down a ladder, it's always been like this, but when you face the ladder now, it sort of jumps like that. Really just looks weird. I did not like that at all. It's the same when you're going up. It's just like it sort of pushes you up. It's only when you look at the ladder, and I don't know why they did that. I think it's not for me. It's not a change that I like. Let me know if there's anything else I should check out with the copper golem and these kind of features. I think they're quite cool. I think this is one of the best updates we're going to get in quite a while. There's a lot of really cool features. I really hope you enjoyed watching, so thank you very much.